Hello everyone, this is Nick Perry at Schaefer's Investment Research with your chart slideshow for Friday, October 26th. Today I am back with my weekly check of the broad market indices. In last week's chart slideshow, we were discussing this pullback that we'd been seeing on the broad market indices, and I left that saying that on the SPX this was a big level to watch, and on the comp I said we're talking about this level, but primarily said I was interested in that longer term support. When we turn to this week's charts, we see that the SPX pulled right down to that zone, kissed it, and now appears to be bouncing higher. On Wednesday in the blog, I pointed out right as we were hitting that zone for the second time this week and basically said if buyers were willing and able to step in, this seemed like a logical place. And then we saw a bounce intraday on Wednesday that brought the SPX back to break even. Thursday we saw a sell-off that didn't quite bring it back to that level, but it was an intraday sell-off and we rallied back at the close. Today we're seeing a move into positive territory. So all in all, I think that's an encouraging sign. Perhaps the more interesting chart is the one that I didn't expect, and that's the comp. I talked about this being short-term support right there, coming off this peak. I said I wouldn't view that as the major level, but viewed this one as being the more significant one. So what happens is we see a bounce at what I believe to be the less significant level, and to me that's an encouraging sign. As far as my overall takeaways go, I would say that the action is encouraging. For the last few weeks now, we've talked about this pullback in the context of a sharp uptrend, so it wasn't surprising to see a pullback. And what we're seeing now is that the pullback is stabilizing at support. So you'd like to see it turn higher. The big kicker is next week we've got a couple of big events. Obviously, we got the two-day FOMC meeting. So on Wednesday we're going to get what the Fed has to say. Expectations are for a 25 basis point cut. It's always a crapshoot what the initial reaction is off of that. And plus, on Friday then we've got the monthly employment report, which tends to have a lot of hype around it. So we got a couple of big profile events. If I had to guess as to what that's going to mean, I'd say that maybe people are going to sort of step back a little bit and be a little hesitant here. Not hesitant in terms of selling, but maybe just not willing to step up and buy in massive quantities. I could be wrong on that, so I wouldn't put too much weight on that. But basically what I'm going to be looking at is, again, the support zone on the SPX we've been talking about. We got near-term support on the comp, longer-term support there on the comp, and keeping an eye on those levels. So, as always, stay tuned to the blog. But for now, I'd say that the technical pattern looks encouraging. Well, have a great weekend.